All right, let's go ahead and dive into it. Welcome in, Banter fam, to the Friday edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and we are going to dive into the crypto gaming markets. And we got a ton of news and even some news that has broke within the last hour and a half for some things that we've been waiting on. I've been kind of hinting at over time that there's a good opportunity around the corner to get on an alpha opportunity, as in testing a game, so to speak. So we'll get into that in this video as we have some news on that, as well as some news across a lot of different projects that we cover. And we will go over a couple of NFT projects that are integrating play to earn and Metaverse that I'm super bullish on with some good developments. And at the very end, I want to touch on a couple key details on CyBall that I think are very important for you to also keep in mind, because this game is a fresh economy, right? It's brand new, just came out on the 22nd. So I want to kind of go over a couple of key points why I'm super bullish on this game's economy, because the lifespan is literally at its very beginning. So without further ado, let's get in the game.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you gon' play, but ain't a percent. If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you gon' play, but ain't a play if you get lost.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. And I teased this morning on the show, and I will zoom back in. I think whenever I migrated my computer, things might have gotten zoomed back out to where we zoomed them in for the show in the previous show. So there we go. Now we can clearly all read what's on the screen. But giant Japanese e-commerce retailer Rakuten launches an NFT marketplace. And this is huge. I mean, this is one of the sponsors that was on Barcelona's jersey for years, right? And I mean, internationally speaking, they are a super, super large company. As you see here, the market cap of $17 billion. And as they see, they will launch a diverse range of NFT content from sports to entertainment, including music and anime. So they have a ton of partners here. And as I've mentioned, they have deep ties in a bunch of different sports leagues and stuff like that. So this is definitely really good to see some mass adoption, because I teased on Rand Show, we're seeing a bunch of mass adoption in Japan right now from NFTs. And this is one element because I mean, when you're just speaking of sales of $13.6 billion, $17 billion market cap company, that is definitely something to take serious. And when you take a look at the 2019, they were number 81 as far as digital companies. So nice to see that institutional interest that I preach about all the time actually coming to fruition. As it wasn't that they announced that they're going to do a marketplace, it's that they launched a marketplace, right? That's the news. Rakuten launches Rakuten NFT. So very good to see. Fast action. You can tell that they've been working on it, right? So good to see that this is live. And also another Japanese conglomerate, aka a bank, or so to speak, conglomerate, Japanese biggest bank, Japan's biggest bank, Mitsubishi UFG, to launch its own crypto and NFT wallet. And this is right alongside the news of Rakuten going with the NFT marketplace. So very good to see some mass adoption. And I always talk about the levels of adoption, right? So we're not only seeing companies, tech companies, fashion brands. We're seeing eventually you will see education move here. You will see entertainment, music. We've seen that. We all know gaming, etc. But as you see with NFT marketplaces, full-blown banks can integrate payment systems and wallets to try to, as much as they can, keep it under centralized wraps, right? Because that's the goal. I think that at the end of the day, that's their goal. But at the end of the day, also, we all look for adoption in the space, things that will just push forward, bring more people to the space. It's the same thing as Coinbase NFT, right? So Coinbase NFT has like 3.7 million users signed up on their pre-enrollment. And for now, that would triple the amount of wallets that own NFTs. So That would literally bring so much adoption to the space. So when you see a, you know, countries' banks, their biggest bank, for example, moving towards NFTs, we've seen in the past governments, such as in Saudi Arabia, like their governments allocating funds to build like cities in the metaverse. So, in my opinion, very, very big news here across and over in Japan as far as the NFT space goes. And speaking of NFTs and metaverse, all those corporations, conglomerates, and companies that used Ethereum this year, most of these have come up in news as far as companies I have talked about getting into the metaverse, right? NVIDIA. We all know, like for Visa and PayPal, they're just integrating, crypto for now. But I would have to assume PayPal would eventually go with the NFT route as well. We've seen Google buy a Web3 gaming company. We have Amazon, their metaverse potential, their metaverse interests, Samsung integrating NFTs into their TVs, Microsoft obviously buying up Activision as part of their metaverse play. So most of these companies here are actually showing majority interest in the metaverse. And when you see McDonald's here, McDonald's has talked about opening up virtual locations. So imagine you're taking your stroll down the street in Sandbox in the metaverse, and you just cannot escape the freaking McDonald's that's on the corner. You just want to go live some sort of different life. And all you see is the freaking golden arches on the corner of the street. You just can't escape it. But I think it's good, obviously, for the adoption of the space, because most of these companies that are using or keeping Ethereum on the balance sheets are in it for NFTs and are in it for the metaverse. So very, very good to see. Also, a recent company that has gotten into the metaverse in NFT gaming, which is Zynga. Zynga created Farmville, which was one of the cultivating free-to-play Facebook games back in about 2007, 2008 range, somewhere around there. I don't know the exact year that Farmville launched, but Farmville, created by Zynga back in that time period, was a super successful free-to-play Facebook game that a lot of people spent time on building up their farms, building up their simulation, so it would farm in the background, stuff like that. And like for me, the free-to-play game I chose was like Mafia Wars, but I also did play some Farmville. Those games were definitely hot back in the day. And in middle school, when you didn't want to do your schoolwork and you're in the computer lab, I might have been the mischievous one in the corner that was playing computer games like that. So, the teacher didn't like that sometimes, but it is what it is, because I had to game. I had to, why do some sort of walkthrough on the computer when I could play some free to play games? So the CEO here kind of wanted to just talk about some of the potentials of getting in. And just the fact that the gaming industry, $4 billion in 2021, and as you see here with leading ventures such as like Riot Games, Alpha Draft, and Pro Guide. That's like where he previously worked as well. So you just see the potential there with NFT gaming. Zynga sees that potential, and integrating a free to play game. Integrating successful free to play games with NFTs is harmless, right? So you're integrating value for your players. It's complete power back to the players. So very good to see that Zynga, as they've recently made this move over, they know the value they can bring to this space, especially if, they can just be super easily accessible, right? And that's just, I've spoke about how like Atari, they're planning to bring their old arcade games to the metaverse and play to earn. That's super nostalgic, right? Everyone would play like, for example, like just like the Galagas and the Pac-Man of the worlds, right? So people would jump to that if it was play to earn because it's nostalgic. Everyone knows how to play those, etc. We saw Nintendo's interest in the metaverse. So a lot of these traditional gaming companies that aren't right now, even though Microsoft's showing interest, the ones that aren't the Xboxes and the PlayStations for now, we're going to see a lot of these companies that cultivate games for the PC and cultivate games for potentially like phone apps and stuff like that, or apps in the past successfully, or successful arcade games and nostalgic games like Nintendo, Atari, stuff like that. You'll bring those over to the NFT gaming realm, and those are perfect starter games to get involved in NFT gaming. I see a comment, Zynga is Gala. No, one of the co-founders, one of like the founders of Gala is a ex-exec from Zynga. So no, they're not the same. They are just associated from that. The people from Gala, one of the execs at Gala is an ex-exec from Zynga. But Zynga has shifted now to NFT games themselves, which is really good. And it kind of just shows, I think, the shift, right? Gala was ahead of that narrative. You clearly see that. Very good to see in general. This just dropped 1 hour ago. And I've been teasing for a long time, guys, that Sandbox Alpha Season 2 was something to keep your eyes out for. And I think that this is going to be huge and something that you should definitely at least hop into, complete some of the quests, and see if you can get some of the rewards, right? So there's 35 experiences open to all, more ways to win an Alpha Pass, which gives you even more in-depth experience. And now available on Mac. So the old one was only available on PC, this Season 1. But now Season 2 is on Windows and Mac, so PC and Mac. And as you see here, we'll kind of just take a look at the video they posted here. But if you participated in the last one, you were able to earn 1,000 sand tokens as well as a couple of NFTs. And at that time, sand was like $4 or $5. So it basically, I mean, it paid pretty nicely if you just participated. So there's going to be 35 experiences between Sandbox cultivated experiences as well as some player. And there's going to be get-togethers like you just saw. There was like a CyberKongs event tease there. I'll just go back here. As you see, like the CyberKongs on the left side of the stage here. It looks very, very sick. So they're going to do like a Snoop Dogg event. They did an entire list of all the different experiences and events that they're going to put on. The Snoop Dogg experience will be one of them, alongside a ton of these mini games. And there will be play to earn mechanics as well. And as you see, everyone can play, which I love. So last one, you had to have an alpha pass to play. This time, you can actually jump in. You do not have to have an alpha pass, but you can win an alpha pass, as you see here, which gives you a little more in-depth access, a little more earning potential. And you can also win up to 1,000 sand by participating in the alpha. So this is free to play, guys. Jump in, get some experience, right? When this game comes out, there's going to be a lot of companies popping up in here. There's going to be a lot of people spending time in Sandbox. So, you know, this is definitely something to go check out, see if you have a good time, see if there's some experiences in there. Like, what if Snoop Dogg does a performance that you're like, okay, that was actually super cool. So you might actually find something in the world that you like. And as I spoke about, they did release a full kind of picture here of what you'll be able to do in the Alpha Pass Season 2. They'll have new IP experiences with Snoop Dogg's Foreplay, Hong Kong's Star Ferry Pier, Missing Parts by Celsius Online. And then they have different experiences from the Game Maker Fund, which are different built games, as you see here for the platform. And they show the more fun things to be aware of. The Rooftop a la Mode is a new multiplayer fashion-oriented experience. Tired of a long day of NFT shopping? How about a rooftop party with the Sandbox in crowd? So all of this kind of sounds pretty cool, in my opinion. There's kind of something for everyone to do here. So I'm looking forward to this. And if you missed, this comes out on March 3rd. And that's only in, I believe, 5 days. So 5 days and count, 5 days and some hours and minutes. I believe from now, this will be live, and we'll be able to actually jump into this next week on stream, guys. We'll be able to jump into the Alpha Pass Season 2 on stream, and we'll be able to try to earn that sand, earn that Alpha Pass. And, you know, if they are for sale, I'll buy one for the sake of just showing the entire experience to the Banter fam, just for, you know, the show's purposes and for the fact so we can just see what is out there for Sandbox to offer. So we'll see from there. And also the first Project Aurora Metaverse residents. We spoke about these earlier this week. So imagine flexing on day one your residence, which is already built out, just an absolute mansion, multi-million-dollar mansion, so to speak, in the metaverse. But this didn't sell for as much as I thought it would, but I think it's because this one was 1 by 1. So the size of this one was pretty small, but it did have over 35 unique assets. It sold for about 19,000 sand, which at the sand price right now of about $3 would be about $60,000. So that 1 by 1 right there sold for $60K, but it will have some assets built out on it. As we saw, you know, this does look pretty cool. So imagine, yeah, like I said, Sandbox releases immediately, and you can take your friends to your Metaverse pad, and they have their blank land they haven't been able to do anything with, or they haven't done anything with. And you're just like, yeah, guys, welcome over. So that'd be a pretty big flex in the Metaverse. So this one, well, not this one. This is just the trailer for the project, for example. But this residence here went for about 19,500 sand. So about 60,000 and some change. We'll see, and we'll keep track of the sale prices of maybe the bigger ones. I think there will be bigger estates, and those plots are going to go for a lot more than the one by one. And another big project that came out with big news today, The Walking Dead forge and lab crafting stations are now live. So they're they have so many different games. Like, they have news all the time. And this is why I love projects like Ultra. This is why I love projects like Gala, for example, because they're always just pushing developments, pushing new things onto their platform. So now they have pushed out the Walking Dead Empire's crafting and forge items, which are like knives, daggers, hunting knives. We have wrenches, sledgehammers. And if you haven't seen the trailer, or not this is the trailer for the game. It looks really, really clean. They have already done, I'll hit the high button. I see that comment. Hit the high button on the thing on the bottom of my screen. But the game looks really good. And this type of game will have some adoption. It has great intellectual property, aka IP, from The Walking Dead. They've already done their land sales, and they already have now these new assets live. And the demand for Gala assets never ceases to amaze me. I mean, the prices speak for themselves, and the prices are just from the demand. So many people want involved in this ecosystem. We saw what the nodes did. We saw what all their in-game assets they produce. Crazy amounts on the marketplace. So definitely something to keep your eye on. And this game will have good amount of I'll definitely be trying this game out. This game looks absolutely amazing. And as you see here, you have like the forge, the lab, the forge knives, the legendary. So, this one right here went for 211,000 Gala, for example. So some of them aren't that expensive, but this one's sold out. And then they start getting a little more pricey as you go up the ranges. So, you just kind of have to, play it how you want to. But, these definitely probably, with the prices, you only can assume the earnings economy of this game will be solid, for example. But when you look at what Gala's doing, all encompassing, looks amazing. And like I said, their music nodes, I got a part of those. We'll see what happens with those down the line. Looking forward to those to become live. But like I said, their gaming nodes did amazing. And most of their in-game assets are doing very well also. So this will be a game we'll have fun playing on the stream eventually. 2 new partners for another top gaming studio. Vulcan Forge announced partnerships today with Everscape's NFT, the home of fantasy, sci-fi, and horror. They hold IP of some of the biggest fantasy artists in the space, such as Frank Frazetta and Juan Jimenez. And NFTs are on the carbon-friendly Elysium blockchain. So they're bringing this project over to the blockchain. So tick another box off for another project coming to join the carbon-neutral blockchain, which plants trees the more it's utilized, which is what Vulcan Forge is integrating on their blockchain. And they're doing the series now where they're like kind of premiering all the projects coming onto their platform. And before the 2 that they announced today, they are at 15. I think this would be about 17, unless they included these in the 15. But they're also delighted to bring in Mirai. I hope I say that right. If I didn't, I am sorry. Mirai Labs to Elysium, an ecosystem dedicated to green already. And their focus is DeFi, Web3, gaming, and NFTs. So 2 great partnerships today for Vulcan Forge, just continuing to push the narrative forward. And I'm going to have to keep rapid firing, guys, because a lot of news today. And it's all gas, no brakes. I got to keep going. And we can't spend too much time on every project. But as someone said in the chat there, PYR is always bringing it. That is a fact. Just like Gala, just like Sandbox, there's always something new with Vulcan Forge. And I absolutely love that. A week or 2 ago, I mentioned that a new game joined the Pavilion platform on Phantasma. Phantasma, one of my favorite projects out there as far as undervalued projects, layer 1 gaming blockchain, this DS Automobiles project. They came out with their official trailer. And man, this looks really good. Like, This really looks like Forza. And if you know, Forza is probably like one of the biggest racing games out there. Bigger than Need. Long term, it was much bigger than Need for Speed, for example. But this just looks so good. It looks futuristic. And in my opinion, this has tons of potential. This will be playable on the Pavilion on Phantasma. And the Pavilion is kind of Phantasma's little game hub where you can kind of see the games that run on their chain. And every game on the Pavilion does either already or plans to run on the Phantasma blockchain. This looks amazing. I really am looking forward to this. Like the environments look great, the cars look awesome. Obviously, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. This is a cinematic trailer, so the gameplay could not look anything like that, right? So we have to take everything with a grain of salt. So don't get your hopes up yet, but that looked absolutely amazing, for example. And that's something I'll definitely be playing once that becomes live on Phantasma. Another project that we love here and is a small cap game that, historically speaking, we go on historic runs after invasions. Just when you look, I showed that chart yesterday that kind of showed that historically speaking, after an invasion, there's a big dip and then a nice little run up after. Well, you look at a project like Guild of Guardians, which has gotten punished, and that this is not just about Guild of Guardians. A lot of low caps have gotten crushed over the last 3 months, ever since the bull run concluded, just because they're low caps, and when they get so much hype and so much buildup, that come down and the crash of a low cap can be just as quick as it pumped up. So, when your low caps in a bull market pump up like that, you have to make sure you secure your profits and secure your downside. But a project like Guild of Guardians, for example, it launched in the bear market. It launched when Bitcoin was going down. So Guild of Guardians is a project that has only really seen the downsides of a bear, for example. Now I think it's at about 40, 50 cents, about $20 million, $25 million market cap with no vesting until November. So look for those low cap projects that if you feel like the market's about to get bullish, that you might just DCA into whenever they do take those 60 to 70% dips, because they will have tons of value. But Guild of Guardians, their pre-alpha demo registration is now open. So if you want to be a alpha tester, aka an early tester, get your hands on the game of Guild of Guardians early and be able to give feedback to the team, tell them about things that are wrong with the game, things that are good with the game. I think that this is a good opportunity. I applied, so I hope I can get my hands on it and maybe be able to at least say that, it felt really good, because I'm sure there will be some sort of NDA if you do be able to participate in the pre-alpha. But I'm sure they would allow me to be able, if I enjoyed it, to be able to say that it felt very good. So I applied. We'll see if I can get my hands on it and just give a little bit of feedback about how the Guild of Guardians pre-alpha feels. Now let's roll into some NFTs that are rolling in play to earn and metaverse integrations into their project. Let's start with crypto unicorns. I said that this project gives me a lot of Axie Infinity vibes. And when I say that, it's because of the graphics, like the cute appeal, just the very friendly. Kids could love this game. Any age rate, because it's play to earn, adults will love it. Kids could literally hop into this game the way that the graphics are. And you take a look, they're kind of teasing a couple of their game modes once again, and I love this. Lock horns with other unicorns and jousting tournaments. So that'll be fun. 32 unicorns competing in bracketed matches where only one will come out victorious. And right now, if you own a unicorn, you can actually stake it for tokens every single day. And you can either do what you want with them. You can go ahead and reinvest it and mint a shadow corn, or you get a loot box. It's like a random, you kind of put your earn tokens into a random draw for either a shadow corn egg or a loot box, or you can just take profits on the staking rewards. So that's kind of up to you. And then we can take a look at the next update from crypto unicorns, their farm plot development. Shortly after game launch, they're going to implement the delegate system where landowners can lend their assets with a revenue share system. So this looks really, really solid. I did get a unicorn. I got some land, so we'll be able to try this out whenever this goes live as well. But this should all roll out in 2022, as we see here, coming late 2022. So we'll be able to test out this game sometime this year. Now let's pivot to another NFT project with some metaverse play to earn initiatives down the line, and that's Angry Ape Army. I gave away a couple of these on my Twitter a couple of weeks back. We covered them here on the show because this project is absolutely amazing. The team behind it's super impressive. Worked on projects like Spider-Man 2, one of the Predator movies, I believe, and a couple of other really, really big films, big projects. And they came out with today this Dawn of the Primal Uprising, which is the official poster for their play to earn battle royale video game. And I say it all the time. We need a battle royale in the space, right? There's not been a really successful battle royale that has come in and cultivated a wide audience in play to earn. And battle royale is the Fortnites, the war zones, PUBG, for example. Last man standing on the map out of like 80 people, 50, 80, 100 people wins the match. Simply put. And with their film background, they went ahead and integrated a really cool film poster. So I thought that was really cool of them to do, just because we know the background of the team. So they kind of decided to go with a film poster type of vibe for their Metaverse game coming up, which I absolutely love. So check out them. They have a lot going on. And not to mention their team's super strong, which is why I love this project. Because when you're looking at NFTs, guys, it's not all about art. It's not all about this or that. You need to find all the utility blocks. You need to have multiple checkboxes, right? And AAA is one of those projects that definitely ticks those boxes. Team, utility, developments, like they are pushing forward. And I really like that. And same thing with crypto unicorns. I absolutely love what both of these projects are doing. And finally, let's dive into a little bit of CyBall to close the show. Launch week has been a great success. Guilds and players are hodling their CyBlocks, and that's for sure. This is getting more and more guild traction, even from yesterday. We have seen like Good Games Guild announce that they have more scholars coming on board. They have accepted their first batch of CyBall Scholars, and phase 2 of their CyBall Scholar recruitment is on the way, for example. Launch week has been hugely successful. Floors for characters are rising, and we have done over 1.2 million for our 7-day trading volume on the marketplace. Highlights users 9,000, 31,000 matches, and 730K CBT tokens, the utility token earned. Thank you. Where will we be next week? And one thing I think people need to realize, people always thought, even when I presented Pegaxy back in December, people still thought, well, I'm late. And then Pegaxy, then a month and a half later, went on a giga run, and the economy has been one of the hottest economies ever since, right? Well, this economy here, guys, is an opportunity to get in before anyone has ever bred, right? People were kind of concerned. Well, people have been breeding. Are they going to sell their horses? All this stuff. So many concerns because they felt like they were late to the game. Well, this is an opportunity to be immediately early on a game. So CyBall just came out on the 22nd. Nobody has done breeding, aka mentoring. So all the characters out there are Genesis characters. You need to remember that. These are all Genesis characters. So you can breed them throughout their entire life cycle. And one thing about this, not traditional about games with breeding protocols, right? So usually in a breeding system, you need 2 characters, right? Well, with CyBall, it's mentoring. And in soccer, like I mentioned yesterday, you're a 18-year-old prodigy player. You're coming into a club. You want to have a mentor in that club that can kind of show you the ropes, how to conduct yourself in the locker room, on the field, off the field, how to be a professional player, right? That you kind of want to have a mentor. So you can actually produce CyBlocks, new CyPods is what they call them. You can produce CyPods with 1 CyBlock. So I want to make that clear. You don't even need 2. You don't even need 2 characters to make another CyBlock, which is super cool to me because that's how it works in real life. That's how a mentorship would work. You only need 1 mentor, for example. So I like that realism to that. And you can choose to mentor using 1 or 2 at a time. And I believe if you do 2 at a time, obviously you would get 2 new CyBlocks, for example. And as you see, you can only mentor 3 new CyBlocks for each CyBlock. So each CyBlock has a mentor count of 3 and only once every 5 days. So there's a 5-day cool off time to mentor. So there's a 5-day cooldown, as it says here. So let's close out the week. Let's grab a W here. Let's grab a W. We'll keep it short. We're going to hop right into the game here. And, to be honest, this game's been super fun, and it captivates me a little more because I'm a sports fan. I'm a sports fan. I actually keep up with real life soccer, aka football, and I think that this is actually a game that, competitively speaking, is exciting. When you go to penalty kicks, it's actually kind of exhilarating. Will the Pegaxy prices go up or drop further? Kindly guide. Obviously, I can't predict that with 100% certainty ever. That's completely speculative. But if they implement a couple of the economy changes, such as like the things that would bring down the investment that they have mentioned. So a couple of the changes they mentioned would actually be able to, I'm going to actually nutmeg on the first turn. And yeah, I don't know. This isn't going to be good. Well, I actually outskilled them in those. So the first category here is dribbling. So on Pegaxy, if they actually implement some of the changes that will bring down the mint rate of this, then yes, I do think that it has a good chance to go back up long term. But they need to make some changes to increase the burn rate again. Because when the burn rate was like over 100%, the economy was kicking. Keen to see the earnings in this game. Yep, same here. So I've already accumulated a little over 460 in-game tokens. And keep in mind, I'm going to do supercharge fuel here because I am outlasting his tackling, and we're going to run it. So it's solo tackling here. So the earnings will go live here in a couple of weeks, technically. I've already earned about 460 in-game tokens, but keep in mind, I have players loaned out. So that's not all my time playing. They're going to score on that one. Okay, what did he use here? He used a defensive tactic. What are we talking about? Okay. We'll have to get back here. 460. I've only got 50. Like I said, I have a ton of players loaned out. So you need to keep that in mind. My dribbling should be fine. I'm going to do perfect save. I can't get scored on, but I can score on him. But this is where I was talking about. So they have like level 9 characters, stuff like that. That's why they're able to compete because they have their characters leveled up. So this game has a really good system integration where you can actually buy floor characters, and it'll skill-based matchmake you against players in your skill range. And skill range doesn't always mean the tier of players that you have. He has level 8, 9, and 7s. I have level 6, 4, and 7s, for example. So that's why he's able to compete with me at that level, because the teams aren't always all about bronze, silver, etc. So they have a good skill-based system. So don't feel like it's always going to be play to win here, because it definitely isn't. This economy definitely is going to be a little more balanced out because of the skill-based matchmaking. They also might score here. Nope, save. Yep, nice. Okay. I got to save that last energy here. Oh, he tried to use dominant performance. Everyone's saying the game looks boring, guys. Like, this is crypto gaming right now. Like, everything is turn-based. Like, go play Pegaxy. You watch your horse race. Like, Crabata, you literally put your crabs in a mining pool. There's not much games out there that are just completely riveting at this moment. So I think people need to, if you look at free-to-play, I've talked about this 100 times. Free-to-play games in 2008 always got shit on. No offense to them. But those games that I just talked about earlier in the show, like Mafia Wars and Farmville, people thought they were trash. And now look at the free-to-play games in 2020 that are Call of Duty Warzone, that are Valorant. These games have been in development for less than a year and a half. Like, no game here is about to have the next Halo, the next World of Warcraft yet. Like, people need to pump the brakes, I think, on what these games are at the very current moment. Like, they're not where they're going to be. This is not crypto gaming in 5 years. And I think that it's just a little bit madness, the reactions you see to some games out there. And the best games so far have been the simplest. Axie Infinity is very simple. This game is very simple. Don't tell me they score here on the last play. He just wins it on the last play. Oh man. But see, that's the skill-based matchmaking aspect. But that's the skill-based matchmaking aspect. We're gonna get a win here. We're gonna get a win here. And the people who say they don't ever want to play this, you can buy characters and loan them out. So if you think I'm sitting here all day racing 30 Pegaxy horses, you're also wrong. I'm not sitting here all day just clicking buttons and racing my horses all day. If you don't want to play, you can rent them out. There is a loaning process. You can rent your horses out for whatever you want to, for example. Like there's no, I don't get the, I've had to say this 100 times on this show too. You can always loan out your characters in these games. There are players very good at this game that are in discords, that are in guild discords, that are in the CyBall Discord that want assets to play with, literally. They need assets to play with, for example. And I think that, there's a market for that. You don't have to be a player and play to earn. So I think that whole notion is washed up, in my opinion, as far as, well, I don't play games, or that these games are trash. Like it's year one of development. Do you choose who you loan the players out to? It can be random and it can be whitelisted. You can send out a wallet address that you want. So if you have a player that you specifically want to rent your assets, you can actually send a wallet address. You can whitelist them, aka, and they'll actually be able to rent it. You get rewards if you lose. You get a couple. I've noticed, but no, actually, I don't think so. No, you don't. No rewards if you lose. Rewards if you win. I've only seen my rewards increase after because I have Scholars playing in the background. Nice goal. Okay. 1-0. 1-0. What do you think is the Pegaxy play here? Stock up tokens or rather buy new horses? Rather buy new horses, 100%. Scale up your operation. I would scale up the operation. Stadium sales are still around the corner. They're going to bring down the mint rate of this. I'm just going to tell you, I bought the last horse dip of $400, and then horses got up to almost $2,000 floors. Tackling, we're going to go with double the tackling here. This should be good. This should be good. CyBall or Pegaxy? That's super hard to, right now at the current states of the game, that's super hard to tell. CyBall's brand new. There hasn't been a single earning cycle yet. So, at this point, that's to be determined. I think both economies have a ton of potential. At this moment, we know the establishment of Pegaxy, right? Horses are very cheap. Yeah, floor at 400 now for horses, for example, as Rich says in the chat. So I think that it's definitely a good entry point. And the economy doesn't stop, right? There's fluctuations, but even at 3 cents, even at 4 cents, even at 5 cents, up to the fluctuations that we saw at 20 cents. So tackling and shooting, I'm not going to do anything there. I'm just going to play my best tackling and shooters. If we could put up a goal here, this would be good. What do I think about D-Race? I wish it wasn't so much pay to win, because you can just get a really good horse and kind of win. And there's entry fees to races. I think they need to tweak the economy a little bit. Just honest opinion, honest feedback. Honest feedback. I love the project. I love the team. I love what they're doing. The graphics are great. The experience is good. I wish it wasn't pay to win as much, and that there wasn't entry fees on every race, because it makes someone with a low level horse not really ever able to get that money back if they're just going to race all day, for example. Let's see. There was a comment before. So what do I think about Sidus Heroes? I think Sidus Heroes has a ton of potential. And that as far as space games, it's going to come out before Star Atlas. It's going to come out, well, not technically. Phantom Galaxies is out right now. If you own the NFTs, you can actually play Phantom Galaxies, which is super good. We've played it on the stream here before. We've showed gameplay clips from my gameplay sessions. They forfeited. All right. So we were able to actually revenge our loss there and be able to make an opponent forfeit. They completely quitted the game. So that was good. But yeah, and then after the game, it shows your level up, how many tokens you made. So I made 12 tokens just off that game there, and they all get a multiplier because they are silver level characters. But yeah, Sidus I think has a ton of potential. The demo looked really good, for example, and I think when that full game is out, it'll be really good. But I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up here. This game, I do think this is gonna have a ton of scholarship appeal, and those are the games that I've had the most success with as far as the economies, right? The Pegaxys, and then like very passive games such as Cribata. You don't do much, so people talk about the simple games, yada yada. That game was very fun. Like it's competitive. Trust me. Go play a game, and you tell me if you win a game in shootouts that it's not fun. I will tell you right now, your adrenaline will be a little bit up when you are doing a penalty kick shootout at 1-1 for your earnings in this game. I can tell you that. So you'll see the appeal. I can guarantee. If you're a competitor, you'd like these games, and it's play to earn, right? So market down, market up. These economies are churning, and I think that's the main point here. And pump the brakes, everybody, on the speed of development. I'm not going to be able to come on here on Monday and have the Call of Duty of the blockchain ready to go. These things take time. These studio games aren't going to be here next week. They're not going to be here next month. So slow down the expectations. I think that the expectations are just so we want things now, crypto games or this or that. And I think that people just need to take a look at the widespread space and compare it to where games started. I said this yesterday on the track of gaming. You need to look at blockchain games as a brand new track. We're on a new scale here. If you think someone was going to build out a AAA first person shooter in the first one of the first, like it wasn't going to be a first person shooter that was the first NFT game that was successful. Axie Infinity, a simple game, had to prove that there was a market for play to earn, for a big player to come build a game out. No one's going to go build out a multi-year first-person shooter to test the waters. Axie Infinity made that test and very, very successful, which will then bring those projects here. So set the expectations correctly. I'll be back on Monday. We'll see what the market does. Market's, up, it's down. We saw a very nice surge up after the initial dip after the invasion news. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Stay safe out there. I'll be back on Monday. I'll be testing out more of this economy. I'll be checking in on my other play to earn economy, my horses, my crabs. My friends might think I'm crazy if we go to dinner and they ask me about what are you doing these days? Well, I got a few mechanical horses and digital crabs doing their work. I got some CyBlocks now. CyBlocks. They'll just be like, dude, you need to go to a mental institution. I'll be back on Monday. Play well, my friends.